Ah, greetings, fellow travelers. I am Supremo 156, back again for some more Metal Gear Solid 5. Our last man just showing us. Actually, what did we do? Nothing really noteworthy. If I'm actually being honest. Why do people actually still play this game? I suppose.
Please select a mission.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Mission accepted.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these hard mode missions are definitely, fucked. For example, these missions, I pretty much go in literal naked snake.
Boss, you need to disable the Soviets' reinforcement system by putting a hole in their base-to-base comms network. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy its comms equipment. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Hey, I just stopped it right here. That right there, this is the fastest I've ever done that mission.
Amazing. Mission complete. That right there is why you're the best, boss. The one and only.
Fuck yeah! Oh. That was just downright awesome.
Please specify project.
Seems like I need to go recruiting a few more people.
Please select a mission. Mission accepted. Deploying.
Let's go. I know that our maximum bond, but then again, she did get shot up last time.
Find and extract the missing CIA agent. The target was laying low with the friendly Mujahideen during the vocal cord parasites incident. The man headed back to OKB-0 after the Soviets recaptured it. Check the target's VI on your iDroid.
You said that the nuke Skullface was trying to spread around the world were equipped with a failsafe. Something that could shut them down at will. His will.
Quite so. After all, he needed a guarantee that a buyer wouldn't simply turn the weapons back on him.
So how can they be stopped?
The criticality trigger, that is, the detonator, is a complete black box design. Any attempt to dismantle it causes it to melt in seconds, using the corroding archaea. The design ensures that no detonation is possible unless it disengages the lock.
So he had a way to disengage it remotely.
Precisely. The client simply presses a button. At that moment, the detonator begins transmission with a surveillance satellite. The satellite reports to him how the client is trying to use the nuke. If he does not object, the lock is disengaged.
But if it's a risk to him in any way...
The detonator melts down. The same is true if detonation does not occur within a preset time after the lock is disengaged. The nuke is rendered useless.
Who the hell would buy something with strings attached like that?
The client would never know until the moment they actually try to use it. Most likely, he would have explained the time delay as the detonators needing time to activate. And he only intended to sell to technologically primitive groups in the first place.
Let me guess. He'd claim it was defective and offer a replacement. Shadier than a used car salesman.
Skullface shakes your hand like a friend, using the other to control you like a puppet. This is how he works.
Yeah, you better be quiet. I'm just putting in my next hit.
Code Talker. Haven't seen you eat a single thing since you got here. Let me guess. Photosynthesis?
Oh? What makes you say that?
Well, a long time ago, I knew someone with a similar ability.
Well, you are correct. Most of my body is covered with parasites. I supply them with water, and in return, I receive sugars they produce when exposed to light. It isn't just my skin either. The parasites also act as my eyes. They have replaced many of my internal organs as well. It is thanks to them that I live on after over a century.
How did you obtain them anyway? Through your research?
I would like to say as much, but there is more to it than that.
Oh.
Back 20 years, I had hit a dead end with my parasite research. Then I was approached by a foundation. They said they had a sample of an unusual strain of parasite.
Which foundation?
Apparently, they had links to ARPA, That is all I learned. I was somewhat ignorant of the ways of the world. Just being able to study it was enough for me.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Go on.
Half in doubt, I visited them to discover the body of an old man. Well, to be precise, his partial remains. A collection of parts, you could say. The man had died.
You gotta extract him.
An old man, you say?
Analysis
His
complete.
flesh had not
You are
decomposed.
worthy of
In
that.
fact, the tissue's cells were still metabolizing. The parasite had infected, or should I say assimilated with the tissues, and was keeping them alive.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
The body parts, foregoing food and even sleep. Every day was filled with new discoveries. The parasite's biology, internal anatomy, life cycle. But there was only so much I could learn through observation. And so I made a decision. To truly know the parasites, I had to live with them.
So, you implanted them inside you from the dead man's flesh?
Correct. It was quite a gamble, whether or not they would adapt to me. But fortunately, it appears I was compatible with them. Or perhaps, through my many years of research, my immune system learned to tolerate them.
Were they that body's only parasite?
Yes. However, there was a separate specimen that supplied its host with
You gotta extract him.
response to pain, and yet another that could control insects at will through secreting heterogeneous pheromones. I wanted exposure to them, to take them into me, but my wishes were denied. Their records, though, provided clues that helped advance my research. Would you care to join me? A life spent never worrying about food.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I think I'll pass. But thanks. This has been helpful.
The buddy has infiltrated our... What has been updated?
He's coming too.
Yay,
Roger
boys.
that.
Всем боевым группам, это КП. Вышел из строя целый ряд. Похоже на проблемы с электроэнергией. Проверите, кстати.
You gotta extract him.
Analysis complete.
Skullface has finally burned out. The world is rid of his...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
He's still alive. You could say that. But you could also say he'd been dead for decades.
What's that supposed to mean?
Biologically speaking, it's hard to say how much was his life.
Side effects from the treatment.
No, the primary effect. Keeping a dying host alive as long as possible. That is the whole point. But in the end, he grew too dependent on his children. As if he had any other way to keep on living. He first underwent parasite therapy before the Soviet Union became his home. His body was horribly
Analysis
burned.
complete.
Fire washed across his thin young frame and stole his skin and his throat, even his lungs. Only through repeated therapies could the parasites keep him alive. Most of his life became something the parasites gave to him.
And then he lost the ability to die.
That is correct. The parasites live on past the host's death, still aiding cell composition. At that stage, there is no way to extract them from the host cells. There is no way of knowing when the last cell of Skullface's body would die. The only And I am one to talk. When my life is snuffed out, I expect you to treat my body the same.
He's coming too. Roger that.
I will truly be one with my children for the first time. You say there were 3 English vocal parasites?
According to Skullface?
Yeah. Skullface had 2 of the English strain with him. You burned both of them.
There was an oil fire. I tossed him in.
So that just leaves 1. And you tell me Skullface said he used it.
He said it was very close to me.
Very close. One of your comrades. Or someone ordered to kill you.
You gotta extract him.
Speaking metaphorically.
Metaphorically.
Close to your spirit. Close to your heart. Someone who either loves you or despises you.
The second one makes a long list.
Whichever it is, act with caution. Skullface implanted someone with the English language strain. Who it is irrelevant.
Why?
I tell you what Skullface really meant. Very close to you means you will be exposed. All the infected here have been given the Wolbachia. Even if the vocal cord parasites infect them now.
We know where to find the target. Check your iDroid.
There's a different host among us. Host to the English strain.
If that were the case, we'd see the symptoms.
What about the non-English speakers?
We have plenty of those, but the staff use English as a common language.
But if that someone has not spoken English yet, and begins to speak it now,
There'd be another outbreak.
the final mating pair of the English strain must be found immediately. Skullface is gone, but his threat still remains. On this base, do you see what the final mating pair is?
There. That's the target.
Those parasites are the stain he wished to leave upon the world. His thirst for vengeance. In their flesh. Think. Does anyone here bear a grudge against you? Who would target you, specifically?
The ethnic cleansers that Code Talker mentioned, they weren't Skullface's true goal. All we have is circumstantial evidence, but here's my theory. It was Cypher who started developing the vocal cord parasites as bioweapons, parasitic weapons, and Africa was the testing ground for them. As Code Talker said, their purpose is the ethnic cleansing of only those who speak a particular language. So they could do a weapon of mass destruction to eradicate specific groups, races, ethnicities, or colonies by the language they speak. Or a kind of absolute language control. Or maybe a tool for those arrogant fools.
Target extracted. Exfiltrate the hot zone, boss.
See plenty of uses for them. However, in practical terms, they wouldn't be as dangerous as you think. Counteracting the parasites is easy, after all. Cut them out of your throat to save your life, or just don't talk.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
So if the international community were to find out about them, they'd no longer be the threat they were conceived to be. In which case, their targets would be limited to minority groups, as a deterrent or a terrorist tool. It's hard to imagine Cypher developing something like that as the main weapon for their arsenal. That leads me to think we've only tugged on one little thread in Cypher's grand tapestry. An obscure corner of their work, possibly forgotten altogether. In any case, things changed. When Skullface was forced to relocate to Africa and he saw that thread dangling. All the time he continued that research, he was secretly following his own agenda. The ethnic liberator parasites. His English language strain. Skullface said there were only 3 samples of the English language strain parasite, and I think we can believe him. Bringing his ethnic liberator's plan to fruition depended on creating an English version of the vocal cord parasites at all costs. but an English strain would have been useless to Cypher. Worse, it could have destroyed everything they'd built. It was the one type they couldn't allow. That means Skullface was forced to develop his English strain out of sight of Cypher's network. Naturally, he couldn't use the greenhouse facility Cypher had set up and filled with guinea pigs. Skullface must have found some secret place to create his precious few English parasites, hiding all evidence like a man cheating on his wife. Somewhere, an entirely standalone environment. And when his plan entered its final phase, he must have made the place disappear. Some little room could be anywhere, but now nowhere at all. We'll never know where he did it. But to elude Cypher's surveillance, it could have been big. I believe Skullface was telling the truth. There were only ever 3 samples of the English language strain. Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan? This is how Skullface wanted things to play out. The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Revealing the existence of Sahelanthropus results in a return to the glory days of the Cold War. The threat it poses reignites the nuclear arms race between the world's major powers. The demand for nuclear weapons increases around the globe. What if you then introduced a nuclear weapon anyone could get their hands on? Non-nuclear nations, militant groups of all shapes. They'll jump at the chance. Sahelanthropus was a marketing tool to sell nukes all around the world. But I think it's safe to say that plan was stamped out before it got up and running. The world's intelligence agencies never did turn up anything conclusive on it. After all, Sahelanthropus vanished before word could spread.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Never to join the pages of history.
Analysis complete.
Except for Cypher. Cypher won't forget. They'll already be working on something quiet beneath the surface. They'll use the pieces of data scraped together from this incident to build their own bipedal weapon. It'll take them a long time to complete it, but for now...
You gotta extract him.
The Reed sector have found their new life's work. We'll have to be ready too.
Cease cover fire! Dylan.
Exfiltrated.
That's it. You've made it out of the hot zone. No sign of the enemy. Mission complete, boss.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional. Boss, the target filled us in on what's been going on. He betrayed the Soviets, passing information to Langley, but got scared after learning XOF used the vocal cord parasites. Then came feelings of guilt that his leak sent comrades to their deaths, and fear that America might deploy such a weapon itself. But in reality, XOF and Langley don't have a collaborative relationship, and Skullface was not working for America. Still, I can't blame the man for being afraid. After laying low with the Mujahideen, he tried to cut his ties with the U.S. and return to the Soviet military. But along the way, someone came after him, and he was forced back into hiding. Could have been remnants of XOF looking to silence him. And you know the rest. He doesn't seem to know much about the parasites, but nevertheless, it'd be too dangerous to hand him over to Langley or the Soviets. We'll keep him here as originally planned.
Well, damn.
Emmerich's finished development on that battle gear of his. Get back to Mother Base.
clouds approaching.
The Battle Gear is an armored weapon developed to take on hostile bipedal weapon systems. But unlike the Soviet-funded Walker Gear, the Battle Gear still hasn't been properly field tested. I'd like to assign a combat unit to take it on dispatch missions, so that we can evaluate its capabilities and reliability. Assuming you got no objections, give the order to dispatch the unit from your iDroid.
Not that. It's going to be a while before we get to that point.
Boss, we need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all. Roger.
This is P-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Caution, heavy mist anticipated.
This is P-Quad. On station at LZ.
Hey, give me a second, people. I'll be back. Back. Thank you for waiting.
Gaining altitude.
Why do we have Emmerich and Tallahassee in the same area?
Boss, we need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all.
Please select a landing zone. Heading to Afghanistan. Deploying.
Oh. Alright, so listen to more tapes.
This is Yellow Cake that Cypher was having the PF's transport. Before we met you, the boss recovered it from a truck crossing the savannah. Are there metallic archaea inside it?
Yes, the archaea metabolize uranium-235 to subsist. They must be stored inside Yellow Cake, or they cannot survive.
So those biological traces we took for impurities were actually the real cargo.
Of course, they are deactivated, so they do not trigger a sudden enrichment. They are like baker's yeast. Yet, they do gradually enrich the uranium as they feed. I imagine you detected weapons-grade traces.
Yeah, we did.
And the malachite that was loaded on the truck had traces of uranium in it too. So that's the flower, huh? Skullface was gonna sell do-it-yourself nuke kits. The uranium-enriching archaea complete with a user's manual. And the ores with the uranium could be sourced by the client or provided by Cypher.
Even the trace amounts buried in common ores can be enriched to weapons-grade uranium by the metallic archaea. Proving that must have been the most important factor of the trials. That and the ability to successfully prevent detonation.
So if the amount of uranium in the ores are low enough, they can get past any inspection. And you only need a tiny amount of the archaea to act as the yeast. No great challenge to smuggle that either. The first step towards saturating the world with nukes.
His plan. That was not my intention. My only goal in developing the metallic archaea was to save the Dene.
What made you think a tool for creating undetectable nuclear weapons would save your people?
After 70 years, the Dene reclaimed the Navajo nation from which we were banished. We bore all the hardships of poverty, but we were proud to live off the land we called our own. But in the moment the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, everything changed.
I don't get it. You gotta extract him?
This race between the U.S. and the Soviet Union began with the end of the Second World War. Suddenly, there was a massive demand for uranium. And it was our ill fortune that the ground beneath the Navajo Nation was rich with uranium ore. The Black Ana government set up mine after mine, and many of the Dene worked them, never informed of any danger. Every day, they went to work with no protection. The slag was simply piled out in the open. When rain fell, uranium traces left behind would seep out, and when the ground dried, it was blown about as dust. Land and water were contaminated, irradiated. Many of us became sick and died. That pain lives on to this day.
I had no idea.
Wanting more than anything to revive the land my forebears left to me, I was delighted upon discovering microbes that eat uranium. If they could be domesticated, I believed we could rid our land of uranium.
Were you successful?
No. The research called for funding on a colossal scale. But nobody...
He's coming too. Roger that.
No prospect of a return.
And that's when Skullface showed up.
Correct. I can save you and your people. We share the same will. That is what he said to me. And I believed him. Black Ana forced me to abandon my uranium cleanup work and focus on nuclear weapons. And he held all the Dene hostage. Today, the uranium mines within the reservation are finally closing down. It is simply less expensive.
You gotta extract him?
To source uranium overseas.
New victims, different places.
But uranium is a tactical resource. To rely
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
And he was in the perfect place to influence that decision.
He could have condemned your people to the mines forever.
The contamination comes not only from uranium. The fallout from the Nevada nuclear tests also settled on our lands. As if our fortune were not already bad enough. We are also downwinders. To save the Dene, I must complete my original research.
He's coming too. Roger that.
The one that covers the parasite that lives on the surface of the skull's bodies is what gives them their power. Similar to my children
Analysis
who live in my skin. I modified the parasites I isolated from the body of that old man, differentiating them with various abilities. One that can blend perfectly into its surroundings by exposing the pigments in its cells at will. Another that, by harboring multiple species,
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
can oxidize and reduce metal. Isolating the one that covers and transplanting it into an artificial medium should provide the same abilities as the skulls, but they can only subsist within a human body. Once transplanted into the medium, they will eventually die. Another thing, the weakness of the one that covers is desiccation. Their surface moisture loss is greater than ours. The reason they give off mist is to alleviate this by releasing the salts inside them as microparticles. Water vapor condenses around them, appearing as mist. But this dries out the atmosphere until they cannot even produce mist. And once their supply of water from the host runs out, sites are in danger. They, along with their host, enter a form of suspended animation. However, a similar effect occurs if they come into contact with a large amount of water. Rain, for instance. The one that covers will temporarily abandon other processes in its eagerness to absorb the water. Iptiholone. Make the weather your ally.
He's coming too.
Oh, that
Roger that.
sucks. What do you mean taking major
Analysis
casualties?
complete. Analysis
Kill them, you-
complete.
Потерял противника. Ищу потерь точно приготовления. Прием. ЛКП, понял. Проверьте, но осторожно. Конец связи.
Analysis complete.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I would expect that too. You have shotguns in the long-range combat. Actually, excuse me. Yeah, I was giving them shit, but he actually got close to killing me.
He's coming too. Roger that. You gotta extract him.
Shortly.
КП, это свой один. Потерял противника из вида. Ищу Это КП, понял. Будьте очень внимательны. Реагируйте на каждое движение.
Analysis complete. Development complete. Analysis complete.
Wish I had enough for these.
Analysis complete.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that.
Complete.
And the last one's gonna be for that.
You gotta extract him.
Это КП, понял. Будьте начеку. Не найдите противника. Конец связи. Это КП, понял. Опустите каждый угол. Они где-то здесь. Конец связи. Штаб, это КП. Разделся огонь. Открыли огонь в ответ. Мы потеряли врага. Враг может все еще прятаться поблизости. Соблюдайте осторожность. Прием.
Actually, hey,
Commencing platform construction.
she was here last time.
Talk. Where are your friends?
The map has been updated.
Это Дмитрий-2. Никаких признаков врага. Отзываем поиск. Прием. ЛКП, понял. Оставайтесь на чеку. Конец связи. Stand down! Cover me!
Yes, I love it. Yeah, unless they moved her. She was moved.
ЛКП, понял. Все единицам. Будьте бдительны и найдите нарушителей. Конец связи.
Oh, they didn't know we were here before. They do now.
AI pod launch confirmed. We'll pick it up. I wonder what kind of secrets are buried in it. I'll let you know if we learn something. Got a report from the intel team. Remember how the man on fire was crushed by Sahelanthropus? Well, the Soviets recovered his body. Could he really be dead? Boss, head for Yaha Ohu's supply outpost and secure the man on fire's body. If Skullface was right, and the thirst for revenge can turn a man into a demon and keep the dead alive, then this man on fire who's been coming after us ever since he woke up, well, that just might be what's left of our old friend Volgin.
How do we get the hell out of here? Don't call us. We'll
Extraction
call you.
arrived at Mother Base.
Oh, bit of a recruiting spree going on.
Please select a landing zone. Deploying.
There's something I've been wondering. Why are you called Code Talker? During World War II, the U.S. military used the languages of different tribes, including the Navajo, as codes, right? I know the term Code Talker was used to mean people sent to the battlefield to speak in those codes. Were you one of them?
Our mother tongue was indeed used for war. But I did not go. I was already over the conscription age. However, I was made to help craft the codes that were spoken. So in a wider sense, you could call me a code talker for that. Navajo is a complex language, and virtually no one outside the U.S. speaks it. They must have thought it was the perfect language to use as a code.
Yeah, in the end, the Japanese never cracked it. The cipher is king in information warfare.
Of course, they didn't simply speak in Navajo. They created substitutions for words according to a code book, and then translated those into a language. Young Diné was sent to the front lines of the Pacific Theater as code talkers. To fight is an honor for the Diné. They were the pride of our people. But I cannot say this history brings me joy. Words are alive. When they are spoken, life is breathed into them. They become a part of the listener. Our words were transformed into lifeless ciphers and used for war. This, after the Black Ana spent generations suppressing the language.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I guess we shouldn't be calling you Code Talker, huh?
No, I do not mind. The reason Skullface called me Code Talker was because I also am responsible for coding language into the vocal cord parasites. I am the same as those young warriors, used for a cipher's sake. I must never forget that. The name, Code Talker, is a lesson carved into my being.
You said Skullface ordered you to weaponize the vocal cord parasite.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
He wasn't the reason.
And he wasn't. I was seduced by the parasites. That is a fact.
How? You mean from your curiosity as a scientist?
That I cannot deny. But there is more to it. The story goes back to the 19th century, to my earliest memory. One day, a man from the government visited our Hogan, our home.
Fire!
I cried as he yanked me from my mother's arms and took me away to an Indian boarding school. From that day forward, I became George. This was the name my teacher gave me. I was forced to give up my Diné name, forbidden from speaking anything but English. If we dared utter a word of filthy Navajo, the teaching made us eat a bar of soap.
Yeah, that was the U.S. government's education policy for Native Americans.
To erase our words was like erasing our people.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Was tantamount to ethnic cleansing. Over time, the overt persecution of our language stopped. But to this day, it continues to be eaten away by the lingua
You gonna extract him?
that is English. Many of the Diné outside the reservations can speak nothing else.
Cover fire!
And it isn't just our language. Across the world, minority languages are being destroyed by dominant languages. Many are on the verge of extinction.
Enter the vocal cord parasites.
Yes, I began thinking that minority languages needed some sort of deterrent against dominant languages. In order that their peoples and cultures would survive. It was then that I came across literature at the Foundation claiming that man acquired language thanks to a type of parasite, one that distinguishes between languages as a precursor to reproduction. If I could just resurrect it, make it more pathogenic, I would have my deterrent against English. But I failed to hide that aim from Skullface. He noticed. Yes, I wanted to
Roger that.
However, he in fact secretly isolated an English strain.
I will not be held prisoner by the man's phantom. The English strain must to exist either.
Damn it.
Всем боевым группам, это кафе. На нас напали. Всем подразделениям занять боевые позиции.
Traitor!
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Analysis complete.
Это кафе, понял? Внимание всем подразделениям. Отправить резервированную помощь. Повторяю, отправить помощь.
Is
Приедьте.
that a
Gonna extract him.
fucking gunship?
Clouds approaching.
Капейте, Дмитрий-2. Потерял противника из вида. Ищу последние точки соприкосновения. Прием! Это КП, понял. Проверьте, но осторожно. Конец связи.
They don't trigger the alarm on quiet, they trigger the alarm on me.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Oh, God damn it. Fuck yeah. When in doubt, AA
Outpost
gun.
captured.
Ironic, it's the same AA gun that did me in a few times. It's the same one that saved my life.
You gotta extract him.
Alright. Time to come home, Vogel. It doesn't take that.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
What were these side missions? They could have replaced the other two missions.
I barely recognize you, Colonel. Skullface used your thirst for revenge against Big Boss, did he?
Boss, I've updated the mission list. We've received some new job offers. The details are on your iDroid.
Development project has been added.
I think there's a lot more things to work with now.
Please specify a project.
Oh, finally. Seems like we got more tapes too. I'll listen to a few.
Hewitt's dug up some interesting facts about our skull-faced friend. 9 years ago, he was exiled to South Africa, stripped of political power. The upshot's that he ceased being a serious threat, in Cypher's eyes anyway. They eased up on surveillance, giving him an opening to establish his own military unit, one that answered to his will alone. Those men likely had no idea their orders were coming from Skullface. They probably didn't even know the organization was a part of Cypher at all. Anyway, it was in South Africa where he found renewed interest in parasites. And when he discovered the vocal cord parasites, he began to make his plan.
Please select
Wipe the
mission.
English language out of existence. Free the world, not by taking men's lives, but by taking their tongues. In his eyes, the greatest symbiotic parasite the world's ever known isn't microbial. It's linguistic. Words are what keeps civilization, our world, alive.
There was something Skullface said. America is made up of many peoples, but those peoples never mix. Quite so. One nation, home to hundreds of different ethnic groups, many of whom stick to their respective living areas, little colonies, not interacting with other groups, going out of their way to avoid one another.
Please select
Their land, organizations, relationships.
Unit
Thus, the
dispatched.
United States of America is no melting pot.
Unit
It is
dispatched.
more of a salad
Unit
bowl.
dispatched. Unit
It is not
dispatched.
made up from one people, but for its minorities to function in society. A common ground is needed. Language. Even if the country is not one. No, because it's not one. A lingua franca is necessary. English. American hegemonism was born from the illusion that English could unite diverse ethnicities. In taking in people from around the globe, America became a microcosm of it. Now the boundaries between it and the rest of the world have become blurred.
Please specify
However
project.
different our neighbors may be, English enables us to create symbiotic relationships with each other. If English can bring unacquainted neighbors together in America,
Please specify
this should
project.
hold true for the world. This salad bowl that is the world can also become one.
is that? Wait, I think I saw it. Bandana. Ah. Ugh. How long have I been streaming? Shit, longer than expected. Alright, let's have a look at what we have. Price cargo. That I do have. Extreme. I reckon we could do at least one more mission.
Roger.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. On station at LZ. Gaining altitude.
Other bases become quite big. Alright.
Mission list updated. Development project has been added.
Well, ironically enough, I can
Please
now do the
select a
bandana.
mission.
Eliminate walk gears. Total stealth.
Mission accept. Heading to Central Africa.
Alrighty. Well, if we're doing this, you're getting the big
Deploying.
gun. Basically, detected at all, no reflexes. That's it. Game over. Delete the save file, which I'm not going to do. Fuck that.
Boss, this contract comes from the People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola.
Actually, give me a second. I need to quickly use the bathroom.
also known as the MPLA.
Sorry about that.
The PF at Ditati Abandoned Village has been supplied with walker gears. Your job is to eliminate them all. Destroy them, extract them, whatever you see fit. This just might get us closer to the walker gear supplier, Cypher. Good luck, boss.
A ruler's greatest wealth is not money or land. It is the number of individuals under his control. Subjects who work, consume, are there to be used as pawns in war. For a capitalist ruler, his people's power becomes his power. You are the same with your diamond dogs. You spin it with your speeches. But what you're doing is bringing as much talent as you can into your little domain. Every person another feather in your cap. Yes. Since ancient times, every civilization's ruler has had the same idea. When people unite under one will, they become stronger than the sum of their parts. And the one will is the ruler's will. And what do rulers use to bring people together? Language. In the Old Testament, it is written that only one language was spoken in Eden. A shared tongue that united all of humanity. Mankind eventually grew aware of its power and harnessed that strength to build a tower to the heavens, the mighty Tower of Babel. This angered God, who splintered the language of man, and the tower was never completed. Languages emerged, and the earth was divided as men went their separate ways. Every age is the same. A ruler's first order of business after conquering new land is to force his tongue on its people. Ancient Rome, Napoleon, and now Zero. English is wreaking havoc around the world right now. The British Empire tilled the land with war as its hoe, then began planting the seed that is English. Eventually, American capitalism became the new instrument. To play its game of wealth, you only have to abide by one rule: English. By exploiting people's desires, English has become a leash that people gladly wear around their necks, it would seem.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. You have arrived at your destination.
I have spoken enough. Your men can take it from here. Will you permit me to rest? Have something to eat?
I thought you don't eat.
I can subsist without food.
Enemy presence
But there is
detected.
more to the act of eating than nourishment. We receive nature's blessings, and we affirm our part in it. And in doing so, we express our
The
gratitude.
targets have been deployed to that outpost. Find and eliminate all of them.
You don't need to eat and that you're part of nature in the same breath. Anyway, what can we get you? Not exactly a five-star restaurant, but the kitchen's used to serving a lot of different appetites.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers?
Even wheat and have become Americanized. I eat them often back home.
And you just can't let them go. Well, as far as symbols of the American Empire go, hamburgers are pretty good. The victory of capitalism. Your people suffered so much at the hands of America. And you asked for hamburgers.
We have suffered more than you can know. But I do not see hamburgers as an accomplice. A single dish, providing a balanced helping of nature's blessings. Meat, grain, and vegetable. How could anyone hate such a magnificent thing?
Says the guy who can survive on photosynthesis. Balance has nothing to do with it. It's just like a good burger.
That is also true. Be warned, though. I have very high standards.
Don't worry. I do too. All right then. One good old-fashioned all-American icon coming up.
I look forward to it.
That's cool character though, but I like that. Now I want to have like a debut. Also, I thought I lost the mission until I got detected by the sniper.
Analysis complete.
Not really in much the recruiting mood, but well.
He's coming too. Roger that. Nice work. Keep it up. Flawless work. You never cease to amaze, boss.
Sierpieter, Delta 6. Vijandige scherpschutter verloor. Kom in, Delta 6. Wat is de situatie? Alle eenheden, staan bij.
Would show myself, but then the mission would be failed.
Sierpieter, Delta 6. Vijandige scherpschutter verloor. Blijf gereed. Oor. Er is CT, begrijp. Wees paraat. Uit.
Outpost captured.
Nice. Because the outpost is captured, let's go.
Okay, subject is in.
Oh, the other gear walker. Oh.
Roger.
Escort helicopter requested.
That's the way. Great. No targets remaining. Your objective's complete.
Mission
Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land.
We're gonna drop it this time. We're gonna wrap things up.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. On station at LZ.
clouds approaching.
Gaining altitude. Departing.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Mission complete. Great work.
Yay!
Boss, we were right.
Yeah, that cutscene adds literally nothing.
Prolonged time in the field is bad for the body and mind. I think it's time you took a break. Do it for me. Come back to Mother Base ASAP.
Let's be real, this is just the story stuff. What I meant.
Stay back. It's too dangerous. Hey. Back up, kid. I said no. You have to stay back.
Some things can't be helped. Back to your quarters. What's going on?
Shabani. Mayaka 9 Kingoya. Shabani.
It's down there. Hey, the tank at the bottom is filled with chlorine disinfectant. One whiff and you'll suffocate. Don't even. How could you let it fall down there anyway? Go down there, and it is over. Boss! Hey! Listen to me! There is no way to recover the body. What kind of stunt was that? Trying to panic us?
Did I get that disinfected?
Boss, about that AI pod you retrieved from Emmerich's research facility. Guess what we found inside? A corpse. Human. The pod maintained a low internal temperature the whole time, and very little outside air got in. That would have slowed down decomposition. Still, the remains were mostly skeletal. Estimated time of death is between 6 months and a year ago. We put the screws to Huey about it. Listen to the tape. Turns out it was the body of someone we knew very well.
Boss, welcome home.
Roger.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Boss, train with me. I'm out of here.
Alright.
Thank you. Oh.
This is B-Quad. On station at LZ.
Network error. Oh, is it because of that lava base? That's good.
Gaining altitude.
All right. Oh, I could accept those two rewards.
Please select a mission. Unit dispatched.
Let's recoup some of those rewards.
Commencing platform construction. Commencing platform construction. Commencing platform construction.
Alright. You know, at least on the bright side, when I come back tomorrow, that will be done. Oh, I lost my chain? Alright,
Fine.
this one.
Yes, Strangelove was doing AI research in that lab.
Why hide that until now?
Why? Okay, so what? I wasn't working alone. You've got to understand. You do understand, right? I didn't want to drag her into this. It's my load to bear, alone.
So you didn't create the AI intended to drive Sahelanthropus. It was Strangelove.
Skullface was never in favor of AI control. So naturally they argued. Strangelove, she got him angry and he killed her.
How? You didn't see it? So you found her inside that pod after the fact. And you just left her body to rot in there. Or perhaps you put her in there afterward.
I asked him not to take her away from me.
So she was killed by Skullface, but you asked nicely, and he put her body in the AI pod for you?
That's right.
Pathetic. You know, we have another idea. That you killed her.
Me? I couldn't kill her.
You killed her and locked her body in the pod.
I wouldn't. Don't treat me like one of you. I can't just kill anyone whenever I feel like it. I'm a normal human being.
Oh, I see. So you just shut her inside and waited for her to die.
I would never do that.
What, you mean she killed herself?
Yes. She climbed inside that pod and shut the door. It can't be opened from the outside. It was suicide. Suicide, I said. She killed herself. She got in when I wasn't looking and suffocated. She'd often try to do things like that. By the time I realized and opened the door, she wasn't breathing. I got scared and shut the pod again. I couldn't bring myself to open it back up. That's right. Me? Kill her? What is wrong with you?
I see. Just tell me one more thing.
Haven't you gotten enough today?
Okay, I see it's a painful memory. You don't have to answer, just listen to the question. You see, we examined her remains. She had a scar on her lower abdomen, a surgical scar. It had been stitched up and had fully healed, meaning it was long before her death. She had a child, didn't she? Your child. Where's the kid?
How should I know?
So there is a child.
I've never seen his face.
What do you take us for?
They took it all. Even my child. I didn't even know he'd been born. I lost everything.
How old would he be?
It's 4 years since then.
And you know it's a boy.
Strangelove said so.
And his name?
We called him Hal, even though I never saw his face.
Yeah, definitely gonna be fun. Basically going through all these again. But that will definitely be for the last part.
Please select a mission.
Yeah, we're actually not really that far out. Trader's Call. But on that note, that is most likely going to be a wrap. It's nearly been 2 hours of streaming. Thank you all for watching. Oh, I honestly needed a good... I feel so good after all that. Just checking up a few things. Yeah, so I'll mostly try and hit most of the main missions so we can start getting this wrapped up. So I'm aiming for next week for Metal Gear Solid 5 to finish. That's the aim. Will it be achieved? Probably not, I'm going to be honest. There's still quite a lot left in this game from what I remember. And even that, I do obviously want to do some other things before. So maybe, you know what? Forget that. No, that next week. It most likely will not be next week unless I do much longer streams, which that is not outside the realms of possibility. As for everything else, finally finished Pathfinder Righteousness last night, and holy shit! That is a really fucking. I kind of regret not streaming it because, damn, that game gave me feels. Then again, and given with Fable and Homeworld, I didn't want to take the chance and sort of do a series that I was eventually going to abandon. Which gives my high hopes for the first Pathfinder, which I'm going to be playing at some point. Don't know when, but that's definitely in the cards to not only do, but record. I am going to be doing sort of a test run for each of these. Same with the Divinity Original Sins. I'll probably get them to start giving them a go at some point in December. For now, I just want to play a few multiplayer games and just watch a few things. Because, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is definitely one I want to play next. Because, well, yeah, everyone's been talking about it non-stop. Game of the generation. I want to give it its fair due. As for everything else, we are coming up to December pretty shortly. So expect how you could say, another long play coming out very soon, with that being XCOM. But as for the recording schedules, for the recording schedules, I'm not recording anything till next year. Pretty much next year is when I'm going to start getting back into recording, mostly because, one, I've got too much I've already got quite a lot to recorded at the moment with the aforementioned Elden Ring series, which is wrapping up next week. Literally 7 videos left. Holy shit. Then Half-Life, which, given the recent updates, I think it's kind of funny and actually pretty badass that the Half-Life series has got its update, and I'm doing Half-Life 2. Kind of wish I had fun with Black Mesa, but I just didn't. Not a bad game, just dropped in too soon to do it. But yeah, big Hogwarts and Dragon Age will be definitely kicking off the year. But when that kicks off, I will be recording the God of War games. I haven't played 2018 since it came out. Well, and then shortly after that, I played Last of Us 2 and sold my PlayStation because it was so terrible. So we'll be fair to give that another go. God of War 3, the HD remake, will definitely so looking forward to that. Got Ragnarok because it was on sale. Saved myself over $50 on that, so I'm happy with that. And if Spider-Man 2 goes on sale sometime during that process, I'll immediately follow it up with recording that too. Mostly because, well, I do want to get those, depending on how big those are, they will definitely take a while to do. Might even double upload them like I'm doing with with like how I'm doing with Dragon Age and Hogwarts. Then once Hogwarts is done, I'm just gonna double upload Dragon Age videos depending on how much of the Sony stuff is there. Because once the Sony stuff is done, got the big free to go through, and then following that up with Pathfinder and Divinity Original Sins, which is why I want to focus a lot of my attention on the 7 games pretty much established for 2025, because, well, that is not something that is going. Actually, might even play a bit of Starfield today. I haven't played that in a while, and, well, it's such a good game, and plus I want to try and 100% it. Yeah, I know the fact that want to play Baldur's Gate 3, want to play Starfield, want to play all these games. I know. It's just I'm having a great time. Great. This has been a really great year for video games, and honestly, it's made recording both extremely fun and frustrating. Mostly because 1, I want to play all these other cool games, and 2, I just want to do some work. Look, Elden Ring was the big hit, but obviously trying to record everything, you can get everything ready to go is, well, that has its pains in the ass moments. But yeah, actually, are the Half-Life files moved yet? Oh, might have to do that at some point. No, they are not. Then again. Interesting. Well, probably when it's like nearly at the end, I'll start, like part 110, I'll start transferring. But yeah. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a wrap. Thank you all for watching. We'll most likely be back tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow should be fine. Try and get quite a fair bit done, and maybe a bit more longer streams. Especially because I do, well, want to finish this game at some point, but I also have stuff that I want. I don't know. Like I did with the YouTube series of this while back, I might play it more after when I'm finished. Game's so good. Alright. That's it. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.